Welcome, weary traveler, to the quiet heart of Venice during the brilliance of the Renaissance. As you drift along moonlit canals, gondolas slide past ancient palazzi, their facades glowing faintly under lantern light. Here, hidden among labyrinthine alleyways and over low-arched bridges, you will find candlelit workshops humming with delicate work. Places where fire, metal, and human hands come together to turn raw gold into shimmering art. Tonight, imagine yourself stepping inside one of these workshops, breathing in the scent of molten metal, hearing the soft scratch of a file against precious stone, feeling the hushed reverence of artisans devoted to their craft. Let us begin our journey through the world of Venice's master jewelers, where each piece tells a story of ambition, devotion, and silent intrigue. Picture yourself in the warm glow of a small workshop tucked behind a narrow canal. The morning light filters through leaded glass, catching on floating motes of dust and glittering flecks of gold. A master goldsmith stands at a heavy wooden bench, his hands steady as he feeds small lumps of raw gold into a glowing crucible. The metal softens, turns liquid, and the air grows thick with the faint, sweet scent of beeswax, used to coat molds. Slowly, he pours the molten gold into tiny forms carved from hardened clay. They hiss softly as the gold settles, each mold capturing the artist's careful design: swirling leaves, delicate vines, and interlocking patterns that speak of both nature and geometry. Beside him, an apprentice hunches over a rough table, using fine chisels and abrasive stones to shape gems into facets that will catch and bend candlelight into dazzling colors. Imagine the quiet intensity of this place, the soft ticking of a water clock on the wall, the careful breaths of men who spend hours in absolute focus, the almost sacred silence only broken by a file's rhythmic rasp. As the day wanes, tiny filigree wires are drawn thinner than a strand of hair, then twisted and soldered into complex knots and flowers, each one destined to decorate rings, pendants, and ornaments commissioned by nobles. The master's eyes, sharp with years of practice, inspect every curve, every joint, every polished gem, for any flaw could mean weeks of labor lost, a customer angered, or a reputation tarnished. This is a world where time moves slowly, measured by the steady beat of the craftsman's heart and the soft glow of molten gold cooling into permanence. Now, imagine the glittering world beyond the workshop, a grand palazzo overlooking the Grand Canal, where crystal chandeliers cast waltzing lights over polished marble floors. It was here that Lady Isabella's sapphire vanished, a gem the size of a quail's egg, deep blue as midnight, set in an intricate gold pendant crafted by the city's finest goldsmith. The theft sent ripples through Venice's noble circles. Rumors spread like mist. Some blamed a jealous rival, others whispered of a cunning thief who slipped unseen through hidden doors. The goldsmith himself fell under suspicion after all. Who else knew the piece's every detail? Who else could craft a perfect copy to replace the real gem? Summoned to the Doge's palace, he stood beneath soaring, vaulted ceilings, his head bowed as magistrates questioned him for hours. Imagine the tense hush in the chamber, the scratch of quills recording every word, the heavy gaze of masked officials watching from shadowed alcoves. But as dawn broke, a clue emerged. A gondolier's testimony of a cloaked figure boarding a boat at midnight, heading for the lagoon's outer islands where fences for stolen treasures waited. The magistrates shifted their focus. A squad of guards glided across the water in sleek boats, their torches glinting off the canal's black surface like floating stars. Days later, the sapphire was found hidden inside a hollowed-out loaf of bread, tucked among crates bound for a distant port. The scandal's resolution restored the goldsmith's honor, but the tale lingered in Venice's alleys and taverns, a cautionary story of greed, deception, and the thin line between luxury and ruin. Imagine the quiet relief back in the workshop as the goldsmith's apprentices lit candles, resuming their careful work under the watchful eyes of their master, grateful for the calm after the storm. Beneath the green-blue waves of the Adriatic Sea, Venice's silent history sleeps, centuries-old shipwrecks resting on the seafloor, each holding pieces of stories long forgotten. Picture a Venetian merchant galley from the late 1500s, its hull splintered where it struck a hidden reef during a violent storm. For days after its disappearance, families watched the horizon in vain, hoping for the return of loved ones or precious cargo. Centuries later, divers discovered the wreck encased in sand and coral, preserving crates of delicate Murano glass beads, bolts of velvet, and small leather pouches filled with gold and emerald rings that never reached their noble buyers. Imagine gliding through these ghostly halls underwater, tangles of rigging swaying gently with the current, schools of fish darting among cannons encrusted with barnacles, and glints of gemstones catching the faint sun filtering from above. Each artifact, from a cracked silver goblet to a merchant's signet ring, reveals secrets of Venice's far-reaching trade: spices from the Levant, ivory from Africa, silk from China, all journeying through the floating city. Scholars piecing together these finds map not just the roots of commerce, but the ambitions, tragedies, and fragile alliances that made Venice one of Europe's greatest powers. Back on land, news of these discoveries fills Venice's libraries and coffee houses, sparking debates about who rightfully owns the treasures: the descendants of merchants, the Republic's archives, or the sea itself, which has guarded these relics for so long. As you imagine these underwater worlds, consider the quiet patience of those who seek answers among the shifting sands, listening to the deep, slow, unhurried stories. Far above the smoky workshops and quiet canals, Venice's elite gathered in grand halls lit by hundreds of candles, their faces hidden behind delicate masks of silver and black. Imagine stepping into a ballroom in the Doge's palace. Velvet curtains sway with the night breeze, crystal chandeliers scatter light like shattered stars, and richly dressed nobles move in slow, practiced waltzes. Behind each mask lies ambition or fear, alliances sealed with whispered promises, betrayals planned in shadows. A single word exchanged behind a painted fan could send ripples across merchant guilds or spark quiet wars among rival families. Nobles dined on elaborate feasts, platters of roasted game, towers of sugared fruit, goblets of red wine reflecting candlelight. Their laughter filled rooms with ornate frescoes depicting Venice's victories, scenes designed to remind guests of the Republic's power. At the edge of the revelry, you might find the city's master jewelers summoned to present the newest creations: necklaces of pearls the size of marbles, rings set with sapphires like drops of midnight, each piece a subtle language of status and favor. The Doge himself often watched from a gilded balcony, his heavy robes a symbol of tradition older than any single man. Yet even he had to tread carefully among the shifting alliances that pulls beneath the glittering surface of these gatherings. Imagine the music fading into quiet conversation as dawn approached, the masked nobles slipping back to gondolas waiting at water's edge, each carrying secrets and schemes into the misty canals of Venice. As dawn's pale light washes over the rooftops of Venice, the city seems to exhale. Gondolas rock gently in their moorings, shadows retreat from silent squares, and the quiet hearts of jewelers, merchants, and masked nobles rest once more. You have walked the narrow alleys where molten gold glowed, felt the tense hush of scandals that threatened fragile reputations, dived into the silent depths to glimpse treasures long lost, and glimpse the hidden dance of power swirling through candlelit halls. These stories remind us of a Venice beyond postcards and carnival masks, a city of delicate threads spun between beauty and ambition, light and shadow, art and intrigue. Now, as you drift into sleep, let the soft lap of water against ancient stones and the fading glow of moonlight on quiet canals carry you to dreams where time moves as slowly as a jeweler's careful hands. And remember, even in a world of whispers and secrets, there is always beauty waiting in the quiet.